Their regional advocacy advisor for East Africa and Yemen, Jeremy Taylor, joins us now live from Nairobi. Welcome to the programme. Do you have an idea, first of all, of the death toll, the official death toll, in those 3 months of fighting in the Tigray region? Because a media report said that a trio of opposition parties in Ethiopia's Tigray region estimated that more than 50,000 civilians had been killed in that period.
We face an unprecedented situation, in fact, and the key part of what makes it so difficult and so unprecedented is that we don't know. We don't know the full extent of the displacement, we don't know the full extent of the need, and we don't know the full extent of how many civilians have been killed and displaced from their homes. And this is because we as a community of humanitarians are not able to get into Tigray. And so in many instances, we just don't know. And that's the biggest challenge that we face currently.
And why can't you get in? Your Secretary General said that aid was still not reaching Tigray since 3 months since the fighting.
Yes, so we're now almost 13 weeks in since this conflict started, and effectively a humanitarian response has not started. The scale, the breadth of what a normal humanitarian response or a response that would be required, given the extent of the need, just hasn't been able to start. So what has happened is there's been a trickle of aid. A small trickle has reached certain areas. These are areas, main cities controlled by government. Areas along the borders of Tigray, the southern borders in particular, but large chunks of the central and western parts of the region have just not been able to be reached at all. This is due to a range of bureaucratic constraints, essentially. There are various processes that aid agencies need to go through to get the requisite permissions to enter the region, and these are slow. The processes change, and the permissions are just not coming. And so as a result, we are on standby. We are spending vast amounts of time going through the various processes, responding to the changes in the bureaucratic requests. But in essence, we're just not able to get in the scale that is needed.
And so you can't get in, but can you communicate? Are the lines of communication open, flowing?
On the whole, no. So they have improved. In the first weeks of the conflict, there was an absolute and complete blackout of telecommunications, internet, road closures, and so on. We have now got some access through telephones to the capital, for example, to Mekelle. But large swathes of the region still have no telecoms, no internet, no electricity, and the roads are still closed. So not only aid agencies can't get in, but of course, private traders, we recognize that the markets are under stress. So, for most parts of the country, the situation remains critical and dire.
And Jeremy, what would you want the government of Ethiopia to do?
Well, we've worked with the government for many years, and we recognize and acknowledge that the government has the capacity and the ability to coordinate a humanitarian response on the scale that's necessary. So what we're asking is that they allow us and that they work with us and they allow us to get in. We need these processes to be much faster. We're asking for a blanket access permission, essentially, for aid agencies that work in Tigray to be able to take in both personnel and aid supplies. Because currently there's two parallel processes, one for personnel and one for supplies, and these processes often don't match. So we're asking for blanket approvals for our supplies and for our personnel, and for us to be able to access all parts of Tigray.
We hope things change, and we wish you the best of luck with that. Jeremy Taylor, speaking to us from Nairobi, thank you very much.